Coming up here on Fox 4 News at 10 o'clock, recovery efforts post-Hurricane Ian and the progress for wildlife sanctuary here in Southwest Florida.
Plus, it was a hot day across Southwest Florida today, 80s and 90s. Got a hotter day tomorrow, plus your beach forecast. That coming up.
And thousands came out to support former President Donald Trump as he held a campaign rally in Texas today. What he said regarding border security if he's elected president.
Live from Southwest Florida, you're watching Fox 4 News at 10.
Thank you so much for joining us for Fox 4 News at 10 o'clock. I'm Elise Chingari. Tonight we continue to follow with recovery efforts from Hurricane Ian, as this week marks 6 months since that hurricane devastated much of our area here in Southwest Florida. Our photographer Daniel Cruz Familiar was at an event for the Ding Darling Refuge that's raising money to reopen the wildlife sanctuary.
We're excited to be pairing up with Tulane Breweries. That's Luke Bryan's beer. I'm with Ding Darling, the National Wildlife Refuge out in Sanibel. We got hit very, very hard with Hurricane Ian, but we've been working hard the last 6 months to do a cleanup. We're thrilled to tell you that on April 4th, at 7 o'clock in the morning, we will be opening up the refuge. The event today is called Sound of the Sand, and basically it's a fundraiser that Luke Bryan and Tulane have assisted with, and of course Bell Tower has been very generous with their time and energy as well.
We were pretty much the venue sponsor, so we provided all the entertainment today. We organized the bands. We also worked with Suncoast Brewing. They brought Tulane Brewing out today. They're our event sponsor for the beer, and all the proceeds go to Ding Darling.
That's a federal entity on Sanibel that helps the wildlife and protects wildlife and nature and gives us all a place to go back when we need to touch base with nature and be one with it.
We're so excited to bring this to our community. We had a lot of stores move in here from the islands, from Sanibel. We also are opening La Ola from Fort Myers Beach. So this is a really nice tribute to be able to do to one of the organizations that struggled obviously from Hurricane Ian.
Okay, we've had music all day long. We've got more music coming up until 7 o'clock. For those who are adventurous, there's axe throwing. We have bouncy house for the kids. We have archery. We have all kinds of events going on. So come on out. There's something for everyone from 5 years old up to 100 years old.
Best way to find out what's going on is obviously to follow us on social media. So if you just at Bell Tower Shops or at Bell Tower Fort Myers, you'll be able to find us. You can also check our website, belltowerfl.com. But every month we do events for the Humane Society. So we'll have our monthly Yappy Hour with proceeds going to the Gulf Coast Humane Society, of course. And we have a whole bunch of other events coming up. So just be sure to follow us and you'll get to see all the updates there.
And as we continue to follow those updates with Hurricane Ian recovery, we continue to track the latest when it comes to red tide, especially since we're experiencing these hot temperatures. I know many of you want to get out there and get to our beaches. So the good news is that the latest water samples from FWC shows red tide conditions, well, they're improving. We're seeing less of that algae bloom than we did several weeks ago. So most of the testing sites along the Southwest Florida coastline show there's no red tide present. As you can see, this video was shot just a few weeks ago where you could see how strong that red tide has been along our coastline. Again, there's no red tide currently present. We're still seeing low levels in the Pine Island Sound and one low level test result at South Marco Beach. So if you're planning to head out to the beaches this weekend with the beautiful weather, well, you won't see all of those dead fish that you see in that video there right now. And let's get right to Fox 4 meteorologist Andrew Shipley, because Andrew, I know that red tide is something that you continually track here in Southwest Florida.
Oh, absolutely, Lisa. And like you said, the things are continuing to improve here, and that's great news for many of us that have been wanting to go to the beach, wrapping up spring break here as well. And you can see no red tide detected there along Sarasota and Charlotte County beaches. Now, we have still seen low to very low right around Pine Island Sound there up towards North Captiva there. So kind of watching that area as well. It's got a very low concentration just off Bonita Springs there. And then pretty great up along the Naples beaches as well. Just a few spots there up along Marco Island. We're watching just that low concentration there, but not all about a big deal for the most part. But for the most part, watching the Sanibel area as well. Again, with the winds tomorrow, looking a little bit stronger into the afternoon, we can see that lower concentrations there, maybe very, very slight chance of respiratory irritation, but looking significantly better than we were just a few weeks ago, Elise.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Great to see all of that progress still taking place. So we want to get you to some new information that we're learning tonight. A driver was pulled from a car that submerged in a Cape Coral canal. So Cape Coral Fire Department says they responded to this call of a car in a canal at Northeast 9th Avenue this morning around 5:30 a.m. So once on scene, a firefighter named Kyle Manuel, he swam out to the submerged car and used a life hammer to break the car window with assistance from Cape Coral Police Department officers. Now, that firefighter man was able to pull the driver out of that car and bring them to shore. The victim regained consciousness and was breathing while awaiting transport to a local hospital. CCFD also searched and cleared the car and the canal for any other possible victims. And tonight, Florida Highway Patrol is investigating a fatal crash. This happened in Collier County. Again, it left one person dead. FHP says the multi-vehicle crash had happened on Tamiami Trail East and Barefoot Williams Road. It happened this afternoon. All westbound lanes in the area were closed due to that crash. The Collier County Sheriff's Office responded to that scene. We can show you the map here of this area where it happened. Again, it is still under investigation at this time with the Florida Highway Patrol. Also, Northport Police Department found 88 bags of fentanyl in a residence while serving an arrest warrant. 28-year-old Terrence Johnson of Bradenton was wanted on charges of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Northport Police and the U.S. Marshals conducted a search of the residence on the 2300 block of Sparkle Lane. While inside, that's when investigators found multiple firearms, money, and drugs. You can see the picture here that they provided showing everything that they found. This includes 88 bags of the deadly narcotic fentanyl. The investigation is ongoing. Police say additional charges against Johnson, well, they're expected. And few details have been released after Cape Coral police found a man and woman dead inside of a home. You may remember we first brought you this news Friday morning. This happened off Southwest 12th Street near Skyline and Pine Island Road. So no new information from police has been released yet on exactly how the pair died or how the two are related. But Fox 4 crews, as you can see, spotted those investigators walking in and out of that home with evidence bags and taking pictures of the entire area.
Don't really see anything too different from the normal going on over there anytime I pass it. So it's really quiet over here. We don't normally have any issues.
We also heard from the landlord of the home who says the tenants always paid their rent on time and lived there for a year. Again, we do not know the identities of the two people found inside the home at this time. We continue to work with Cape Coral Police Department to try to get new information on that. And tonight, let's also talk about some dry conditions that we're experiencing here in Southwest Florida. We know that 3 fires happened in Lee County just yesterday. The biggest one was in North Fort Myers. It is now 95% contained and took place near Slater Road and I-75. The Florida Forest Service says the fire sparked after a tree made contact with a power line. So what about the other two? Well, the other two, they were smaller fires in Lehigh Acres. Both of those are now out. The first broke out near Paulcrest Avenue and Preston Street. Lehigh Acres Fire District officials say it ignited by sparks from a lawnmower. The second brush fire in Lehigh happened along Cleveland Avenue. Fire District officials are still investigating the cause of that fire. You need to remember Lee County is still under a burn ban, which means you cannot burn any trash or yard debris. As of course, these dry conditions, well, they remain in place. Let's get right to Fox 4 meteorologist Andrew Shipley because he continues to track these dry conditions. And it seems like we're going to be like this for a little while, Andrew.
Yeah, at least we are. And continuing to see even drier conditions down in Collier County. I know you're showing a lot of stuff in Lee County there, but pretty much all of Southwest Florida, the driest locations in the state. And then we got lucky today. We didn't have anything significant because we had pretty gusty conditions earlier today. Gusts about 30 miles an hour. Cape Coral, Fort Myers, as that sea breeze pushed in. Also saw another hot day. Temperatures in the upper 80s and 90s, and we're getting hotter as we move in towards tomorrow. But it's been a hot month of March. Really, 20 of the 25 days so far above normal. We're averaging just about 4.6 degrees above normal. And we're going to see that same trend expected for you on Sunday as highs again approach those upper 80s and low 90s under plenty of sunshine and well above that average high temperature for the time of year of 82 degrees. But how long do these warm temperatures stick around? I'm going to break that down for you coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Still ahead here on Fox 4 News at 10 o'clock. You'll want to hear this story, how a woman in Washington was actually able to track her stolen AirPods after she left them on an airplane in San Francisco earlier this month. Plus, we'll take you right to the Fort Myers Music Festival happening in downtown Fort Myers all weekend. Welcome back. So the Fort Myers Music Festival kicked off on Friday. Let's take you right to that event tonight, as our photographer was there for all of the fun taking place. So this is being held on the waterfront in historic downtown Fort Myers. The event is produced by Paragon Festivals in partnership with the Fort Myers River District Alliance. So you can enjoy all kinds of different food and desserts plus drinks. And while eating, you get to listen to all sorts of live musical performances on the stage there by some of Florida's and the region's top musical talents. You can listen to R&B, jazz, rock, reggae, and Caribbean sounds, while also shopping for arts and crafts along the waterfront.
Yesterday was great. Today was better, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
We love seeing this back. Oh boy. Come on, Fort Myers.
Of course, Andrew and I weren't able to attend because we're here at work, but our director Christian was able to see some of that fun there tonight. Now, if you weren't able to make it out today, the festival continues tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and general admission is free. Also today, the color run was held at the Mercola Market, where runners passed different color stations at different locations, including the Cape Coral Animal Shelter, Cape Coral Skate Park, and also Crunch Fitness, Mid-Cape Global Academy, and Sam's Club, just to name a few. Take a look at this.
So today is the Spring Family Fest, the event sponsored by Mercola. There's a color run that you just saw. They just started. We have 65 plus vendors out here, food trucks, bounce houses. It's free entry to the public. There's face painting, scavenger hunt. The Easter Bunny will be here, free pictures with the Easter Bunny. It's a great family event. Everybody should come out.
Looks like it was a ton of fun there. I'm sure people left with a lot of those colors all over their shirts when they're running through there. Well, if you'd like to meet some of your Lee County deputies, there's a Coffee with a Cop event. It's coming up this week. So the event is hosted by Coconut Point Starbucks this upcoming Tuesday. It's March 28th from 10 a.m. until 11:30 a.m. So you, the community, are encouraged to connect with those deputies and get to know each other over coffee and a conversation. Again, that's coming up this Tuesday. So meanwhile, researchers with Florida Atlantic University are looking for volunteers to help with an algae bloom study, and it's based here in Cape Coral. So the study will help us understand the long-term impact of harmful algae blooms on our health. FAU is looking for volunteers who are willing to complete a short survey and provide a nasal swab, urine and blood sample to test for algal toxins. The study is being conducted Monday and Tuesday at the City of Cape Coral Public Works Department. To take part, you must be 18 years or older, and you could get a $25 gift card for participating. Well, let's check in with Fox 4 meteorologist Andrew Shipley. We know we've seen and felt some really hot days lately. Andrew, I've been out boating. I've been at the pool. You're saying it's going to be a mild night tonight, though. So
I need to be on your social calendar, it sounds like, because you've actually had more fun than I had. That's fine. But it is a mild night for us. We're seeing temperatures down into the lower 70s for the next couple hours. Mostly clear skies. You'll notice a few more clouds building in there into the early morning hours. What we are going to be seeing is becoming partly cloudy, as well as some areas of fog developing here tonight. Overall, though, low temperatures right around to 69, 70 degrees or so through the overnight hours. But again, watching areas of fog. We saw that this morning. Very patchy in nature, though. You can get into some pockets there that are a little bit more dense through the morning hours, though I think that should lift out by about 8, 9 o'clock there in the morning. And then we're right back to the sunshine. Let me time out the day for you here. As you get in towards about midday, full sunshine is expected, but as you roll into the afternoon, you could see a few more clouds in there. Models are pointing out maybe a quick passing showers, not really enough to amount to anything, but maybe just get a little spit on for maybe 2 minutes or so, and then you're pretty much done. But otherwise, mostly sunny skies expected through the day, and hot temperatures, actually hotter than we saw today. I'm going 90 degrees to Fort Myers, Cape Coral, Punta Gorda. I'm at 87 down in Naples. You get inland 90, Clewiston, 93, LaBelle, and Immokalee. So yeah, toasty day out there with mostly sunny skies, though shy of records. It is going to be a hot day. Record, though, would be 94, so it would be a couple degrees shy of that in Fort Myers, as well as Naples and Punta Gorda, but doesn't mean it's not hot for this time of year. 82 is normal for this time of year, and we're going to be above that over the next couple of days. You notice a little dip here, a little weak front coming in, just maybe a few more clouds there Tuesday, Wednesday, otherwise shooting right back up to near 90 by the end of the week. So, yeah, toasty week for us. How about rain chances? Well, just keep a 10% chance just for that passing little quick shower. Now, got a little higher, 20%, but really not much expected there Wednesday. And that's going to be with that frontal boundary kind of hanging out with a few more clouds there Tuesday, Wednesday or so. So we'll be watching that. But I need a lot more rain than that. Check out the rainfall deficit, anywhere from 3 to over 5 inches of rain below normal, even with that 1 inch that we got in Punta Gorda earlier this month here. So need a lot more rain. Obviously, it is dry season, and that drought continues to worse. And we are seeing much of the area now in severe drought, except for portions up towards DeSoto County, Sarasota, and northern portions of Charlotte County. But we need some rain. And unfortunately, I don't see any in the forecast, any significant rain, that is, for that matter. But in terms of tomorrow, also looking at pretty low humidity out there to go along with the dry conditions, especially inland. That's where you see those humidities at about 37%. LaBelle, Immokalee, getting down near that 35% threshold that we watch for fire danger. So you do want to watch, be careful with that. In terms of winds, not going to be too much of an issue there in the morning hours. That's why we get that fog to form up. But how about in the afternoon? We will see that picking up there again with that sea breeze. Could see some gusts up near the coastline, 20, 25 miles an hour. So all that said, we do still have some pockets of some moderate fire danger out there tomorrow, especially Lee County, DeSoto County. Now, it says low the rest of the area, but that doesn't mean things aren't dry. It doesn't mean we can't get a fire. So just be using some caution out there for your Sunday. Now, in terms of the 7-day forecast, pretty much more the same. The hot temperatures expected there Monday, mostly sunny skies, 89 degrees. Again, with that weak little front, we're talking a couple degree drop. Not nothing really to write home about there. Tuesday, Wednesday, 88 degrees, partly sunny skies, then right back up to mostly sunny and 90 as we head into next weekend.
Andrew, thank you so much. We'll still ahead here on Fox 4 News at 10. Tonight, we are tracking the latest when it comes to the devastation left behind in Mississippi after a tornado ripped through that area. A 16-year-old Florida boy convicted of murdering his 13-year-old classmate back in 2021. Well, he'll spend the rest of his life in prison. Now, according to police, the 13-year-old victim was stabbed more than 100 times. Reporter Joe McLean spoke with the victim's family right after sentencing inside that courtroom.
Mr. Fucci.
In an emotional message after a life sentence was handed down for his daughter's killer, Forrest Bailey acknowledged how much the support of family, friends, and the community at large has meant to him over a grueling, nearly 2-year court process.
As I look over, I also see all of our friends and family, and it's just a small sample of who could be here today. You've helped carry us throughout, and we appreciate and love each and every one of you.
That impact of Tristan Bailey's murder was felt throughout the Durbin Crossing neighborhood and the St. Johns County area.
I mean, for 2 years, it's all we've thought about. Happened right in our backyard.
It really shook us up, and it really has made an impact. I mean, we don't think the same when we let our kids out.
It's devastating what it's done to our community. We live in a great community, and it's devastating what it's done to our community.
With a final sentence poised to put Fucci behind bars for life, many I spoke to said that they're hopeful the community, especially the Bailey family, can find, if not comfort, at least some closure.
Just seeing how hard the law enforcement, the first responders worked in the case, and to see how they took it personally as if it were their own child, it is very encouraging just to know that everybody was involved and everybody took it to heart, and to know that they treated her family as if it were their own. I do feel that we are able to move on just knowing that we have that peace of mind.
Still ahead here on Fox 4 News, we'll show you how the suspect of last week's fatal shooting in Miami Beach told police it was self-defense. More coming up from the ongoing investigation. And does the name Elan Gonzalez ring a bell? How the once known in an international childhood custody battle that stoked Cold War fears is set to become a Cuban lawmaker.
Live from Southwest Florida, you're watching Fox 4 News at 10.
Thank you so much for staying with us for Fox 4 News at 10 o'clock on this Saturday night. I'm Elise Chingari. Well, thousands came out to support former President Donald Trump as he held a campaign rally in Waco, Texas today. So some familiar faces of the Republican Party turned out to support Trump. They included Congressman Matt Gaetz of Florida and Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia. The event was held at Waco Regional Airport. It comes at a time when Trump may be facing indictment on criminal charges in New York City. A grand jury has been hearing evidence involving the former chief executive's alleged payment of hush money to a porn star he was allegedly involved with. Now, during today's rally, President Trump repeated his pledge to secure the border if he's elected president.
As president, I will immediately end the invasion of our southern border and all of those Texas ranchers, all of those great ranchers whose houses are being invaded. They never had anything like this. I saw somebody three days ago said 2 years ago the border was totally secure. We had no problem. You wouldn't see anything. And today it's a disaster. People knocking on our door and they want to knock the hell out of us.
The Trump campaign has said the location and timing of today's event had nothing to do with the deadly siege in Waco 30 years ago at this time of the year. The site of the rally is 17 miles from the branch where law enforcement conducted a siege after weeks of negotiating with the people inside. Nearly 80 people were killed when a fire broke out there. Well, the suspect of last week's fatal shooting in Miami Beach told police it was self-defense. According to a police report, when officers arrived on scene Friday night, they found a man with multiple gunshot wounds. Police say a 23-year-old suspect approached the officers and admitted to firing his weapon. He told police someone pulled a gun on him and he was forced to defend himself. The victim later died from those injuries. Another person was also hurt in that shooting. The suspect was taken into custody without incident. No charges have been filed as of yet. Well, Elian Gonzalez, once known in an international childhood custody battle, is set to become a Cuban lawmaker. According to a Communist Party publication, Gonzalez has been nominated for Cuba's National Assembly. It all but secures a spot for the now 29-year-old. So Gonzalez, I'm sure as many of you remember, he was just 6 years old when he shot to fame on Thanksgiving Day back in 1999 as rescuers saved him off the coast of South Florida. So his mother and 9 other migrants drowned when their rickety boat capsized on their way to the United States from Cuba. Distant relatives took him to Miami and refused to turn him over to his father back in Cuba. Now, with news cameras broadcasting, armed federal agents stormed that home and seized the boy. Gonzalez's father won custody of him back in court, and they returned to Cuba. Gonzalez became a vocal supporter of Cuban leader Fidel Castro and the nation's communist government. Cuba's 470-seat National Assembly meets a few times a year to discuss proposed laws and usually approves them unanimously. Well, Rolling Fork, Mississippi, a community in the central part of the state, has been leveled by a massive tornado that struck on Friday night. We now know that at least 26 people were killed and dozens injured after powerful storms, and at least that one tornado pummeled the southeast, ripping roofs off homes and knocking out power for thousands. Officials said Rolling Fork took a direct hit from that storm. The tornado blew out windows, reduced homes to splinters, and left people and animals trapped in that debris. You can see what it looks like now from these aerial views. Now, to make matters worse, the National Weather Service says a widespread area in the south may be hit with another round of severe weather tomorrow. The region that could see the bad weather includes parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. Let's head over to Ohio, where an officer and teenager were dragged by a car and teen suspects as they drove away. 2 teenagers are in Columbus police custody following the incident that put 3 people in the hospital, including that officer. So reports say another officer on duty drew his weapon and shot at that car, hitting the driver. Columbus police said 2 special duty officers were in the parking lot. And that's when this all happened. And moments afterward, an officer and 1 teenager were dragged by the car. Police said the driver of that vehicle sped off, trying to get away from the scene, but the other officer drew his weapon and shot at that car, hitting the driver. Apple CEO Tim Cook stressed his company's ties with China during his first trip to Beijing in 4 years. This is according to a report from the Chinese state media, Chinese Daily. So Cook is in Beijing for the China Development Forum. According to the report, Cook said that Apple and China grew together over the past 3 decades and that he was thrilled to be back. On Friday, Cook posted a picture of himself smiling with customers and staff at that Apple store there in Beijing. Now, Cook's Beijing visit, well, it's raised some eyebrows amid the ongoing tech battle between the United States and China. And speaking of that tech battle, Utah has become the first state to require social media firms get parental consent before they allow their children to use apps. And the companies must allow and verify users that they're at least 18 years old. Republican Governor Spencer Cox signed off on the controversial legislation that goes into effect on March 1st of next year. So the bill is considered the most aggressive step yet by state or federal lawmakers to protect kids online. Under its provisions, social media platforms will have to conduct age verification for all Utah residents, ban all those ads for minors, and impose a curfew, making their sites off limits between the hours of 10:30 at night to 6:30 in the morning for anyone under the age of 18. Well, you may have heard stories of passengers tracking their bags when the airlines can't find them. But how about tracking an item that maybe you left on the airplane? So that's exactly what one Washington state woman did after she left her AirPods on a plane in San Francisco. It happened earlier this month, and she quickly realized they appeared to have been stolen. Tim Johns reports how she eventually got them back thanks to her tenacious tracking abilities.
They say good things come to those who wait, but for Elizabeth Hayden, she prefers to tackle her problems directly. In early March, the Washington state resident was connecting through SFO after visiting her husband, who serves in the military on the island of Guam. Hayden says she was getting off her plane when suddenly she remembered she had left her jacket, which had her Apple AirPods inside, on her seat. After approaching airline staff, they assured her someone would get the jacket for her, and then she went on her way to catch her last flight to Seattle. It was during that part of her journey that Hayden decided she was going to try and get some sleep.
I said, okay, I just put in my AirPods and I'll be fine. I could sleep for a couple hours to Seattle. Well, that was when I realized that they were gone.
Thanks to the Find My app on her phone, Hayden realized her AirPods had been stolen out of her jacket. While she was in the air, she was able to track them and take screenshots as they made their way around the airport. First to different terminals, then the United Cargo building, and ultimately down the southbound 101 freeway. Hayden says she immediately began reaching out to various United employees and police departments trying to get her stolen property back. After nearly 2 weeks of getting little to no assistance, Hayden says she was able to get them back thanks to a detective working at SFO. The AirPods having been taken by a contractor who was loading food onto the aircraft.
As far as I'm concerned, if United has trusted that employee on the airplane to do a job for them, then they're responsible.
Hayden's AirPods were eventually sent back to her, but she says they arrived damaged. For her trouble, United has agreed to pay for a new pair and give her 5,000 airline miles as an apology.
That hasn't happened yet, and I can't say whether it will or it won't.
But for now, Hayden says her tenacity has served her well, and she hopes it can be a lesson for others to never give up hope.
When you look at things and, you look at something that's right and you look at something wrong, and then you ask yourself, is this something that is happening to other people as well?
Andrew over here is asking me if this woman and I are related for all of my investigation skills. It's pretty impressive what she did. Now, that theft is now actually being handled by the San Francisco Airport Police Department, which plans to submit the case to the San Mateo District Attorney's Office. So good investigating there. Well, still ahead, we are showing you how a local business is making a comeback one day at a time for the video game industry. We'll also show you how service dogs can be a huge help for veterans who are dealing with PTSD and why a local nonprofit needs your help to keep that help coming.
And can you believe it? Tomorrow's the last weekend games of spring training. Twins at Red Sox. It's going to be a toasty one. I'll break down the heat. That coming up.
Welcome back. So we love to see all of this progress since Hurricane Ian. So a business that was actually destroyed by Hurricane Ian is now back open again. 8-Bit Hall of Fame was once located in Bonita Springs, but of course it had to be moved to a new location, and it's now in the Gulf Coast Town Center. Our Fox 4 photojournalist Mike Lammy takes us to that grand reopening.
Today's the first day of the reopening of the store after Hurricane Ian. I was 2 blocks from the beach, off for 9 years in Bonita Beach Road. My building completely filled up with water. I lost everything. My wife has brought up things that happened that day, and I have no memory of it at all. I still do it old school, write it out. I probably had 20 times as much stuff in my other store that got destroyed. So all this stuff in here actually came from 4 collections that I bought. I had a huge personal collection, and I got married, and my wife wanted it out of the house. So that's actually the reason I opened the first store. I hear that almost every day. People come in and tell me, oh, I had this when I was a kid, and then my mom sold it at a garage sale and didn't tell me or threw it away. So yeah, most of my clientele are actually people from 20 to 50-year-olds coming back in and buying back what they had when they were kids.
That's phenomenal, Jason.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Glad to see you back.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. And I'll see you later. Thanks, man. The reason I reopened pretty much was because of the community and my customers sending me positive messages all the time and everything. I did construction and teaching, and this is like I'm not really working. Erica paused and she said, "Isn't that your store?" And before the surge even came up, it was already like 3 feet up to the window, and I knew it was going to be gone because the surge hadn't even hit. I was actually listing my house and going to move back up to Iowa after the hurricane and teach again. But with all the positive support I got down here, I thought, still on it? Cool. Just get it in my head that I might be able to restart this, because I thought with everything I lost, I'd never be able to do it again. I'm so proud of you. Thank you. I'm sorry.
No, not a word. Yeah.
It's been a rough couple months. Yeah.
It's a good day. It's a really good day.
Awesome just to see that, and obviously he's emotional there. So of course, make sure you support these local businesses. Well, springtime is a symbolic of new beginnings and a fresh start, so why not try to get the chaos out of your home? So interior designer and transformational guide Rebecca Hitona has some tips for you. So first up, saying declutter. The clutter in our homes is often connected to areas in our life that are also stagnant. If you have a hard time getting motivated, start with things like expired products.
When we have physical clutter in our space, we don't realize that we're actually sending off a vibration that we have no more room for new things to enter our world.
She also says deep cleaning can help you get ready for a fresh start. But why just clean your home when you can also dust off your finances? Reporter Heidi Fogelson has that story.
Spring has sprung, which means folks are deep cleaning their homes, and
it is a great idea also to do a little bit of some spring cleaning on your finances. Come this time of year, do a little deep cleaning to your budget.
So to learn how, we spoke with money-saving expert Bethany Hollers from brickseek.com. Her first tip, start selling.
It's a great time to jump into your spring cleaning and turn it into some really quick cash. You can set aside clothes that you haven't worn in 6 months or a year, or even books or video games that you've already read, that you've already watched, or even just things around your house.
And put it online.
Join the online yard sale groups that are local to your area. Facebook Marketplace is an amazing platform where you can unload.
Apps are an option too.
Apps like OfferUp. And then of course there is always the go-to of eBay.
Wherever you decide to list your items,
snap a few good pictures and good lighting of your item. Make sure that you're providing an accurate description of the item and its condition.
Next, revisit your insurance.
Insurance is one of those things that we buy it when we need it and then we forget about it. So whether it's car insurance or life insurance or a homeowner's policy, a simple change to your policy, maybe even switching companies altogether, could save you hundreds, even thousands of dollars.
Bethany suggests shopping around for rates every 6 months.
You can pull up a bunch of individual companies, put your information into each one and see what rates each company provides you. And then there's also third-party sites as well where you can plug in your information and they will compare those prices for you.
Finally, call for lower rates and fees.
According to a survey done by creditcards.com, 84% of cardholders who called their credit card company to ask for a lower interest rate or a higher credit limit or to waive a late fee were successful in their call.
Bethany's made the call and been successful.
When I speak with a customer service representative, I explain I've been a great customer and a longtime customer and I always pay my bills on time, and it slipped my mind. And 100% of the times I have been successful.
We're sprucing up our bank account by cleaning up our finances.
And speaking of spring, let's get to Fox 4 meteorologist Andrew Shipley. But before he gets to the forecast, I want to ask you, Andrew, do you do any of that spring cleaning? I have a really hard time getting rid of anything.
Well, if anyone can tell you anything about me, my father's new favorite word is budget, and I got myself all on track lately, so it's all good news. But we are looking at a pretty non-spring-like night, but we are looking at temperatures falling into the, looking at lower 70s, upper 60s, mostly clear skies the next couple hours. But you notice about getting to 4 o'clock, maybe a few more clouds building in there, becoming a little bit more partly cloudy as some areas of fog are developing. 69 degrees is going to be that overnight low temperature for you. But talking about the fog here, this is going to be kind of hit and miss. Some spots, could be a little bit more dense than others as we roll into that 7 o'clock hour. I think most of this should be burned off, though, by about 10 o'clock, and we'll be right back to that sunshine as we roll into the middle part of the day. Pretty much all sunshine, that is. As you get into about 3, 4 o'clock, maybe a few more clouds, higher clouds in there, and you notice models are trying to indicate 1 or 2 little quick passing showers. It may sprinkle for maybe 2 minutes max, not really amount to much, but just enough moisture in the atmosphere to trigger some of that. But in terms of the day, Sunday, it's going to be a hot one. 93 degrees, LaBelle and Immokalee, 90 Fort Myers, Cape Coral, Punta Gorda. You notice that sea breeze up along the coastline there, keeping temperatures just a few degrees. We're talking upper 80s still, 87 degrees there at Naples, southeast winds 5 to 10. But yeah, not records, but definitely a toasty day. In fact, the record would have been 94 degrees tomorrow. Fort Myers, yeah, we're not going to hit that. A few degrees shy, but just shows you it is definitely going to be a toasty day. Average high temperature for this time of year is 82. You notice though, Tuesday, Wednesday, just a few degrees. We're talking 88, just a weak cold front moving in for the middle of the week there, and then we warm right back up 90 degrees by Friday and Saturday. So another toasty weekend. In terms of rain chances, just a 10% chance the next couple of days. This is just enough for that quick little passing shower that's not going to amount to anything. Now, you get in towards Wednesday, just 20%. That's because that frontal boundary, just a few more clouds, just a little bit more moisture in the atmosphere, but still, I don't expect anything widespread. I don't expect it to cut much into the deficit at all as we get in towards the middle of the week here. And we need a lot of rain. We're anywhere from 3 to almost 5.5 inches below normal since the start of the year, and that includes that 1 inch of rain we heard earlier this month there in Punta Gorda. And speaking of lack of rainfall, check out the drought index. Much of the region in that severe drought, you get north of that, Charlotte County, DeSoto, Sarasota County, still in moderate droughts. We need the rain, and unfortunately just not seeing it. Now, you're also looking at tomorrow, that low humidity, especially further inland. You get 39% Arcadia, 37% LaBelle, Immokalee there. That's close to that 35% threshold that we watch for fire danger. You get below that, that's when we see that fire danger jumping up. Also watching winds. Now, not going to be a problem in the morning, but like today, you get that sea breeze kicking up in the afternoon. Gusts 20-25 could move a flame. So we just want to be careful out there. But that said, DeSoto, Lee County in moderate fire danger tomorrow. The rest of us in low, but still with the dry conditions, please be careful out there. Use some common sense, that's for sure. 7-day forecast, though. Looking at pretty much a wash and repeat there. Monday, 89 degrees. Then that weak little frontal boundary there comes in. Partly cloudy, partly sunny skies there. Tuesday and Wednesday, 88 degrees. Maybe a passing shower, but that's about it. Then right back to 90 degrees by Friday, Saturday.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Well, the Biden administration is responding to a suspected Iranian drone attack, which killed an American contractor and wounded 5 U.S. service members in Syria. Fox News correspondent Caroline Shively has more details from Washington.
Tensions rising in the Middle East. Late Thursday, a suspected Iranian drone attack in Syria killed an American contractor and left 5 U.S. troops wounded, as well as another U.S. contractor. In response, the U.S. military conducted airstrikes on facilities connected to Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Iran proxy forces struck right back, launching rockets at a U.S. base. President Biden reacted to the strike during his visit to Canada.
We're going to continue to keep up our efforts to counter terrorist threats in the region and partnerships with Canada and other members of the coalition to defeat ISIS.
This isn't the first attack by pro-Iranian fighters in Syria.
They conduct dozens of these attacks per year. This is the third time that the Biden administration has retaliated for one of these attacks. The attacks usually don't kill Americans. They're unacceptable. I think it is the right response for the U.S. to counterattack.
There are roughly 900 U.S. troops stationed in Syria. Supporters argue their presence helps fight back against the ISIS terrorist group. Earlier this month, a resolution to withdraw those troops within 6 months failed to pass in the House.
That mission against ISIS is still viable. It's still vital. It's still important. And we're going to stay at that.
2 of the wounded service members received medical treatment at the base. The 3 others and the contractor were evacuated to Iraq. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
Meanwhile, VP Harris is en route to Africa, traveling to 3 countries, Ghana, Tanzania, and Zambia. Over the next week, the vice president will hold talks with the president of each country. The White House says her trip will build on the U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit that Biden hosted in D.C. back in December. The Biden administration says it wants to strengthen U.S. partnerships throughout Africa and improve security and economic ties. The vice president also is expected to talk about climate change and Russia's war in Ukraine, among other issues. Well, service dogs can be a huge help for veterans who are dealing with PTSD. And as reporter Eric Waxler with our Scripps station, WFTS over in Tampa found, there's a nonprofit in Hernando County that's now helping more veterans. But, well, they need your help to keep it all going.
Clint Baker deals with a lot of issues from his 20 combined years in the Army and Marines. But here to get him through difficult times is Luna.
She's amazing. It's amazing what the dogs sense.
Clint especially struggles in big crowds.
Incidents bring up certain memories. And when those things happen in the public, you need somebody there to support you.
But for the last 3 years, Luna is always by his side.
She knows when I'm upset. She knows when something happens that she needs to calm me down.
Clint and Luna were paired up through the Canine Partners for Patriots, the Hernando County nonprofit working with veterans to help those with PTSD and other traumas that often lead to suicide.
They're training the dog that becomes their working service dog. Suddenly, it's like the weight of the world is lifted off their shoulders. They are more relaxed. They're regaining their confidence, and they're getting a second chance at life.
Canine Partners now works with more than 700 veterans. That number has doubled in the last 5 years because of what they call a relentless need. Canine Partners hopes to raise money to keep their mission going at Saturday's America is Awesome event in Newport Richey. Money, they say, will go toward training the vets and the dogs so they can work together in all kinds of situations.
They're a partner, just like it is in combat. You have somebody there that can help you out. Luna does that for me. She takes care of me when things get rough.
And here's a live look over from the top of the luminary there in downtown Fort Myers. Andrew says it's a warm 74 degrees there. Stay with us. You're watching Fox 4 News at 10 o'clock. Thank you for watching Fox 4 News at 10 o'clock. Coming up on Fox 4 News at 11, we are tracking red tide, especially since many of you want to get out to those beaches. Also an investigation with Florida Highway Patrol. We'll see you back here in the next few minutes. Coming up here on Fox 4 News at 10 o'clock, recovery efforts post-Hurricane Ian and the progress for wildlife sanctuary here in Southwest Florida.
Plus, it was a hot day across Southwest Florida today, 80s and 90s. Got a hotter day tomorrow, plus your beach forecast. That coming up.
And thousands came out to support former President Donald Trump as he held a campaign rally in Texas today. What he said regarding border security if he's elected president.
Live from Southwest Florida, you're watching Fox 4 News at 10.
Thank you so much for joining us for Fox 4 News at 10 o'clock. I'm Elise Chingari. Tonight, we continue to follow with recovery efforts from Hurricane Ian, as this week marks 6 months since that hurricane devastated much of our area here in Southwest Florida. Our photographer Daniel Cruz Familia was at an event for the Ding Darling Refuge that's raising money to reopen the wildlife sanctuary.
We're excited to be pairing up with Tulane Breweries. That's Luke Bryan's beer.
Live from Southwest Florida, you're watching Fox 4 News at 11.
Thank you so much for joining us for Fox 4 News at 11 o'clock on this Saturday night. I'm Elise Chingari. And tonight we continue to follow up with those recovery efforts from Hurricane Ian, as this week marks 6 months since that hurricane devastated much of our area here in Southwest Florida. Our photographer Daniel Cruz Familia was at an event tonight at the Ding Darling Refuge that's raising money to reopen the wildlife sanctuary.
Excited to be pairing up with Tulane Breweries. That's Luke Bryan's beer. I'm with Ding Darling, the National Wildlife Refuge out in Sanibel. We got hit very, very hard with Hurricane Ian, but we've been working hard the last 6 months to do a cleanup. We're thrilled to tell you that on April 4th at 7 o'clock in the morning, we will be opening up the refuge. The event today is called Sound of the Sand, and basically it's a fundraiser that Luke Bryan and Tulane have assisted with, and of course Bell Tower has been very generous with their time and energy as well.
We were pretty much the venue sponsor, so we provided all the entertainment today. We organized the bands. We also worked with Suncoast Brewing. They brought Tulane Brewing out today. They're our event sponsor for the beer, and all the proceeds go to Ding Darling.
There's just 100 challenges like everybody else in the Southwest Florida area. Everything from housing for our staff, all the way through to actual physical cleanup of boats and trash and everything else that's in the mangroves. But we're happy to say we're well on our way, and everybody's kind of finding their place, and we're working through to start a new beginning.
Had a lot of stores move in here from the islands, from Sanibel. We also are opening La Ola from Fort Myers Beach. So this is a really nice tribute to be able to do to one of the organizations that struggled obviously from Hurricane Ian.
But everybody from this area has pitched in and helped in any way they can. I'm happy to say the wildlife is starting to come back. We're seeing white pelicans, we're seeing tortoises, we've got raccoons and baby raccoons living in the tree by the visitor center. It's wonderful. Okay, we've had music all day long. We've got more music coming up until 7 o'clock. For those who are adventurous, there's axe throwing. We have bouncy house for the kids. We have archery. We have all kinds of events going on.
Every month, we do events for the Humane Society. So we'll have our monthly Yappy Hour with proceeds going to the Gulf Coast Humane Society, of course. And we have a whole bunch of other events coming up. So just be sure to follow us, and you'll get to see all the updates there.
Great to see events like these taking place. And as we continue to follow with the updates of Hurricane Ian recovery, we continue to track the latest when it comes to red tide, especially since we're experiencing these really hot temperatures. I'm sure many of you want to get to the beaches this weekend. The good news is that the latest water samples from FWC shows red tide conditions, well, they're improving. We're actually seeing less of that algae bloom than we did several weeks ago. Most of the testing sites along the southwest Florida coastline show there's no red tide present. We're still seeing low levels in the Pine Island Sound and one low level test result at South Marco Beach. You can see from this video here of what we've been experiencing just over the last few weeks. So if you go out to the beach this weekend, you hopefully won't see all of those dead fish that we saw a couple of weeks ago. Now let's get to Fox 4 meteorologist Andrew Shipley. I know, Andrew, I was telling you when I was covering those stories of red tide, you could barely breathe out there. A lot of people were coughing, so that'll be a drastic change for people on the beaches now.
Well, if it tells you anything, I haven't really been to the beach at all since the red tide because of that, and now I'm considering going back. So that's good news there. Get some rod back out, do a little fishing myself. But we are looking at great conditions now from Sarasota County beaches down through Charlotte County beaches. Now you get towards North Captiva down through Sanibel, you're still looking at some pockets of very low to low concentrations, but a lot better than we were just a few weeks ago. Now further south, Bonita Springs, just a little sensor there that came back at very low, but looking pretty good there from all the way Bonita down through Naples. Not really overly concerned with that. And then down near Marco Island, just a low to very low concentrations in there. And we're really not seeing those blooms offshore that we saw just a few days ago. So that's positive news. Another thing we're watching, obviously, is the winds in the afternoon. That's going to be more onshore with that sea breeze picking up. So that's when we do watch the potential for maybe that spike up in respiratory irritants in the air. But going to keep those on the low side. Sanibel there tomorrow, Tarpon Bay Beach, low conditions starting at about 11 o'clock through the evening hours. But again, not overly concerned. I'll break down what you can expect in terms of the heat. That coming up.
Andrew, thank you so much. So tonight we're learning that a driver was actually pulled from a car that was submerged in a Cape Coral canal. Cape Coral Fire Department says they responded to the call of a car in a canal. This was at Northeast 9th Avenue, and it happened early this morning around 5:30 a.m. So once on scene, there was a firefighter named Kyle Mann. He actually swam out to that submerged car and used a life hammer to break the car window. Now, with assistance from Cape Coral Police Department officers, that firefighter Mann was able to pull the driver out of the car and bring them to shore. The victim regained consciousness and was breathing while awaiting transport to a local hospital. CCFD cleared the car and the canal for any other possible victims. And tonight, Florida Highway Patrol is investigating a fatal crash in Collier County that left one person dead. FHP says the multi-vehicle crash happened here. We're going to show you this map on Tamiami Trail East and Barefoot Williams Road. It happened this afternoon. All westbound lanes in the area were actually closed due to that crash. Collier County Sheriff's Office responded to the scene. Again, it's still under investigation at this time. Also, Northport Police Department found 88 bags of fentanyl in a residence while they were serving an arrest warrant. So they say 28-year-old Terrence Johnson of Bradenton was wanted on charges of a possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. NPPD and the United States Marshals conducted a search of the residence on the 2300 block of Sparkle Lane. While inside, investigators found all of this: multiple firearms, money, and drugs, including those 88 bags of the deadly narcotic fentanyl. The investigation is still ongoing. Now, police say additional charges against Johnson, well, they're expected. And tonight, we still have few details released from Cape Coral Police Department after police found a man and woman dead inside a home. We first brought you this news Friday morning, how it happened off Southwest 12th Street near Skyline and Pine Island Road. So again, we're still waiting for those details on how the pair actually died or how the two are even related. But Fox 4 crews spotted those investigators, as you see in this video here. They were walking in and out of that home with evidence bags and taking pictures of the entire area.
I don't really see anything too different from the normal going on over there anytime I pass it. So it's really quiet over here. We don't normally have any issues.
We also spoke with the landlord of the home, who says the tenants had always paid their rent on time and lived there for about a year. We do not know the identities of the people found inside the home at this time. Again, we continue to work with Cape Coral Police Department to try to get you more details on that investigation. And as we know, we're experiencing some pretty dry conditions. We actually saw 3 fires that took place in Lee County yesterday. Now, the biggest one was in North Fort Myers. It's now 95% contained and took place near Slater Road and I-75. The Florida Forest Service says this fire was actually sparked after a tree made contact with a power line. The other 2 were smaller fires over in Lehigh Acres. Both of those are now out. The first broke out near Paul Crest Avenue and Preston Street. Lehigh Acres Fire District officials say it ignited by sparks from a lawnmower. The second brush fire over in Lehigh Acres happened along Cleveland Avenue. Fire District officials are still investigating the cause of that fire. Now, you need to remember that Lee County is still under a burn ban at this time, which means you cannot burn any trash or yard debris as conditions remain this dry. Tonight, thousands came out to support former President Donald Trump as he held a campaign rally in Waco, Texas today. So some familiar faces of the Republican Party turned out to support Donald Trump. They included Congressman Matt Gaetz of Florida and Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia. The event was held at the Waco Regional Airport. It comes at a time when Trump may be facing indictment on criminal charges in New York City. The grand jury has been hearing evidence involving the former chief executive's alleged payment of hush money to a porn star he was allegedly involved with. Now, during today's rally, President Trump repeated his pledge to secure the border if he's elected president again.
As president, I will immediately end the invasion of our southern border and all of those Texas ranchers. All of those great ranchers whose houses are being invaded. They never had anything like this. I saw somebody three days ago said, 2 years ago, the border was totally secure. We had no problem. You wouldn't see anything. And today it's a disaster. People knocking on our door and they want to knock the hell out of us.
The Trump campaign said the location and the timing of the event there today in Texas, where that deadly siege took place 30 years ago, well, that it wasn't related to the two. The site of the rally is 17 miles from the Branch Davidian compound where law enforcement conducted that siege. After weeks of negotiating with the people inside, nearly 80 people were killed when a fire broke out. Well, still ahead here on Fox 4 News at 11 o'clock, we're tracking the latest when it comes to the devastation left behind in Mississippi after a tornado ripped through the area. Plus, we'll take you to the Fort Myers Music Festival happening in downtown Fort Myers all weekend. You'll see the latest as you can try all the different foods there and see all of the different bands as well. Andrew?
As we wrap up spring break here in Lee County, maybe you're looking to get out on the boat. Seas right around 2 feet. Water temperature in the Gulf, 76. I'll break down what you can expect for your work week. That coming up.
Welcome back. So the Fort Myers Music Festival kicked off on Friday, so let's take you right to that event. Tonight, as our photographer was there for all of the fun, it's taking place all weekend. It's being held on the waterfront there in historic downtown Fort Myers. The event is produced by Paragon Festivals in partnership with the Fort Myers River District Alliance. So you get to enjoy all kinds of different food and desserts plus drinks. And then while eating, you get to listen to all sorts of live musical performances there on the stage by some of Florida's and the region's top musical talents of R&B, jazz, rock, reggae, and Caribbean sounds, while also shopping for arts and crafts along the waterfront.
Good. Yesterday was great. Today was better, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Oh, we love seeing this back. Oh boy. Come on, Fort Myers.
If Andrew and I were not working, I'm sure we would have been out there with all of you having a great time. If you weren't able to make it out to the festival today, well, guess what? It continues tomorrow from 11 a.m. until 6 p.m. and it looks like it'll be great weather for it. Don't forget, general admission is free. Also today, the Color Fun Run was held at the Mercola Market, where runners pass different color stations. If you're not familiar with this, basically you get all these different colors thrown on you while you're running. So this was at different locations where they would make those stops, including Cape Coral Animal Shelter, Cape Coral Skate Park, and also Crunch Fitness, Mid-Cape Global Academy, and Sam's Club, just to name a few of those stops.
So today is the Spring Family Fest, the event sponsored by Mercola. There's a color run that you just saw. They just started. We have 65 plus vendors out here, food trucks, bounce houses. It's free entry to the public. There's face painting, scavenger hunt. The Easter Bunny will be here, free pictures with the Easter Bunny. It's a great family event. Everybody should come out.
I have a lot of friends who've participated in those color runs and say how much fun they are. Well, if you're looking for something to do this week and you want to meet some of Lee County Sheriff's deputies, there's a Coffee with a Cop event. It's coming up this week. The event is hosted by Coconut Point Starbucks. It's this Tuesday, March 28th from 10 a.m. to 11:30. So you, the community members, are encouraged to connect with deputies and get to know each other. When you head over to this event, you see the information right there. Again, that is Coffee with a Cop, and it's taking place this Tuesday. Well, the damage and destruction left behind by the tornadoes in the Deep South may have many states affected, and with nothing, and they could use some help, not just in the coming days, but months, as they try to pick up some of the pieces of their lives. So Fox News correspondent Alexandra Hoff has that part of the story as we continue to learn that at least 26 people were killed and dozens more injured.
You know, those who live in Mississippi have unfortunately become accustomed to the seasonal terror that comes with these nocturnal tornadoes. The state is prone to them. So you can't depend on your eyes to see where they might be coming from. Last night, this massive tornado was only able to be viewed by intermittent flashes of lightning and transformers blowing out in the distance.
Is that I can hear it?
That's it. I think it's coming right for us.
These photos are out of Rolling Fork from a homeowner who was thankfully lucky enough to get to a safe place before their home was completely destroyed in the light of day. Their neighborhood is unrecognizable. Her family's now beginning to process the damage, and in speaking with that resident, the loss for their community, their state as a whole, was clearly just too much to take. Now, if you're not local, there are ways to help. You can do that through the Red Cross of Mississippi and Alabama. There's also Samaritan's Purse, which deploys crisis volunteers, and the Salvation Army, which assists in disaster relief as well. While there are so many helpers in situations like this, sadly, there are those who seek to capitalize off of the pain of others, too, with scams. I've seen a few on social media already today. So it is best to stick with charitable organizations that are well known. In Washington, Alexandra Hoff, Fox News.
And right now, we want to get a look at your forecast with Fox 4 meteorologist Andrew Shipley. We know that there's been a lot of hot days lately, but you're saying that it's going to be more mild tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a mild night for us, but I do want to start real quickly. Obviously, our thoughts are with those folks there in Mississippi. There's that front that brought those storms. Not much going on there right now, but again, we will be watching potential for more severe weather there in the coming days. Here in Southwest Florida, though, quiet night for us, so we're looking at temperatures getting down into the lower 70s over the next couple hours. You notice 4 or 5 o'clock, you get maybe a few more clouds in there as we get that humidity returns coming up overnight. But what we are going to be watching is those areas of fog. Last couple nights we've seen that as well. Could see that again here tonight. Let me break that down for you here. Looking at about 7 o'clock in the morning, very patchy in nature, so maybe some denser stuff a little bit further north, Arcadia, Punta Gorda, about a half-mile visibility. So watching for pockets of localized dense fog out there tomorrow. Otherwise, should see that burning off by about 9, 10 o'clock there in the morning, and then back to the sunshine. You can see that there on future clouds and radar, and you can look at pretty clear skies there all across the board right around noontime. Now, you get in about 3, 4 o'clock, you'll notice we're getting a little bit more higher clouds, and they're becoming more mostly sunny. Models are also indicating maybe the chance for a quick passing shower. Nothing too measurable. Maybe rains for minute, maybe max. It's just a couple drops falling out of the sky. Not enough to put it in anything in the drought, unfortunately. But looking at another hot day, though, as well. We're looking at temperatures inland, 93 degrees, LaBelle and Immokalee, 90. Punta Gorda, Cape Coral, Fort Myers. You'll notice the sea breeze up along the coastline. Keep the temperatures just down a few degrees. But otherwise, a hot day. Not quite record hot, but definitely noticeable. Definitely going to be seeing those temperatures above normal again tomorrow. But again, still stay about 3 to 4 degrees below those record temperatures, but doesn't mean it's not hot for this time of year. Normal high is 82 degrees, and you notice the next several days staying above that. We continue to see those above normal temperatures. In fact, 20 of the last 25 days this month, we've seen above normal temperatures, and obviously that trend's going to continue as we wrap up the month of March. So we notice a little dip, though, Tuesday, Wednesday, a weak little system moves through. Brings us a slightly better chance of rain. We're looking at 20%, but that's just going to get that quick passing shower type of system, not looking anything significant. Not going to be cutting in the drought, that's for sure. But we could use some rain. Unfortunately, just not seeing it out there at this time. And with that said, we do still have those severe drought conditions across much of southwest Florida. You get up to the north there, portions of Charlotte County, Sarasota, DeSoto, still in moderate drought, but we can continue to expect it to get worse before it gets better. And also we're watching still that low humidity down near that 35% threshold tomorrow. So watching, obviously, that fire dangers further inland you get, especially in the afternoon when you get those winds starting to pick up with that sea breeze. So something to keep in mind as we work our way through the day Sunday. Otherwise, looking at another hot day, Monday, 89 degrees. Again, backs off just a few degrees there Tuesday, Wednesday, but right back near 90 by Friday and Saturday.
Andrew, thank you so much. Another story we want to get to tonight. So Utah has actually become the first state to require social media firms get parental consent before they allow children to use their apps. Now, the companies must also verify users are at least 18 years old. Republican Governor Spencer Cox signed off on the controversial legislation that goes into effect on March 1st of next year. The bill is considered the most aggressive step yet by state or federal lawmakers to protect kids online. So under its provisions, social media platforms will have to actually conduct age verification for all Utah residents, ban all ads for minors, and even impose a curfew, making their sites off limits between the hours of 10:30 at night to 6:30 in the morning for anyone under the age of 18. Well, here is a live look from the top of the Luminary there in downtown Fort Myers. It's a warm 74 degrees there. Look at that pretty shot over the Caloosahatchee River and that moonlight there. Well, we'll catch you up on the top stories of the day when we come back. Welcome back. Well, here's what you missed in your community if you didn't see all of our reporting across Southwest Florida today. So a driver was actually pulled from a car that was submerged in a Cape Coral canal. Cape Coral Fire Department says they responded to the call of a car in a canal at Northeast 9th Avenue this morning. It happened around 5:30 a.m. Now, once on scene, a firefighter named Kyle Mann actually swam out to the submerged car and used a life hammer to break the car window. With assistance from Cape Coral Police Department officers, that firefighter Mann was able to pull the driver out of the car and bring them to shore. The victim regained consciousness and was breathing while awaiting transport to a local hospital. CCFD cleared the car and the canal for any other possible victims. Also, an ongoing investigation tonight as Florida Highway Patrol is investigating a fatal crash that happened in Collier County, and it left one person dead. FHP says the multi-vehicle crash happened, you can see here on the map, near Tamiami Trail East and Barefoot Williams Road. It happened this afternoon, so all westbound lanes in the area were actually closed due to that crash. So if you were in the area and you were wondering what happened, this is that ongoing investigation with the Florida Highway Patrol. Collier County Sheriff's Office responded to the scene of that crash. Again, we're being told tonight from Florida Highway Patrol that this investigation is still ongoing at this time. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to Fox 4 News at 11 o'clock. We appreciate you watching tonight. Of course, between our newscasts, you can always catch up to date with other stories when you visit our website, fox4now.com. Andrew and I will see you back here at 10 p.m. tomorrow night. Good night.